Fear reinforces patriarchy. Welcome back to my channel. Please hit subscribe and the notification bell if you wish to learn more about my channel. And today I'm going to talk about fear. It's a survival mechanism that we have that's very strong in our brains, and some very clever people in power for thousands of years have figured that out. And so what they do is they create fear-based political systems. Patriarchy is the big kahuna. This is a power system that's behind a lot of cultures in a lot of parts of the world, not just here in North America or the Western world in Europe, but also in Asian cultures, in African American cultures. I mean, it's pretty prevalent. And the reason why it's so prevalent is it works on a piece of our brains that responds to fear, that's ancient, that's wired into us. And when we live our life strictly from fear, we're probably reinforcing patriarchy or giving patriarchal advice without realizing it. Okay? And some spiritual people play into this without realizing it. Like, okay, for example, I do believe in intuition and psychic ability, but have you noticed that some psychics are kind of playing into this patriarchal system by saying, let's do a spell. Let's create a love spell. Let's create a money spell to make you rich and all this stuff. And the problem with these spells is it kind of assumes that in the first place, you're not rich, you're not enough, and you're not already surrounded with love. And that's why I think these things are ineffective and kind of a waste of your time and money. And they stem from that old patriarchal system. It's kind of like, be afraid, you're separate from everybody else, and you have to do something in order to earn love or earn money. And there is some truth in that, but if we get really carried away in it, we're reinforcing that negative political system in place without realizing it. And I've seen that in coaches sometimes. There are some business coaches or career coaches that will give fear-based advice like, don't speak your truth at work. And I get it. In certain situations, that's actually a very smart strategy. But the problem is if you're always following that kind of strategy and you never reveal who you really are, then you're actually reinforcing the patriarchal system and you're actually making it more difficult for women to get ahead at work. You're kind of reinforcing the male power system that's in place. And so how do we speak our truth in a safe manner that's not going to get us, fired or, divorced and all that stuff? Sometimes it's the right thing to do to speak up, and it's the consequence that you have to be willing to sacrifice that it may mean your job or your relationship. Sometimes, though, not always. Like, it's not like you always have to speak that kind of truth and lose your job. You can kind of keep the peace from time to time. It's okay. What's fabulous about the era we're living in now is it's the age of the internet. And the internet is actually a really great place if you have a well-developed truth, and something that you've been thinking about for a long time, and you put it out there in a coherent way to people that they can understand it and enjoy and consume. That's a great place where you can be your authentic self. And there are safe ways to do that and still have your ordinary life and your ordinary relationships. That is something that I've been learning, but it's taking long, long time for me to learn. And what I'm hoping is to pass on that knowledge online so that other people can figure it out more quickly and figure out how to get comfortable with their truth and speaking it in a way that's going to not get them in trouble necessarily. And there's a lot to be said in how you say something too. So your truth should never attack. It should never put anybody down. It's just truth. Like saying, this isn't the way at work we should be doing things. I think this way would be a better way. And keep in mind that when you're working with other people, you can't have your way all the time either. But it is important to speak out when something is important to you. So that's what I would advise. Don't go talking about everything, Maybe keep a list. Like I always like to keep a journal of things that are going on in my life, like at work or when I'm working out or in my spiritual life. Write things down. And if something concerns you, maybe just keep some notes on it for a while and think it through before you speak up. But that doesn't necessarily mean don't speak up. Just be thoughtful, give it some reflection, give it some consideration before you speak up about it at work. And also, if you choose to speak up in work or a relationship, be ready for the consequences and be okay with that. And if you're not okay with it, then just keep it to yourself in your journal for a while until you feel ready. And it's okay to start looking for another job if something's really bothering you at work and you don't feel safe to talk about it. I think it's okay to keep notes on it, be quiet, and then look for another job or start a new business even. That's even more empowering while you're taking notes and being conscious of whatever is going on around you. Okay, but when we're fearful and we follow fear-based advice all the time, that's when we kind of fall out of balance and we're reinforcing that patriarchal system without realizing it. So that might have been a little complicated, convoluted. I hope that made sense. Don't be afraid. Be your real self. That's the bottom line that I'm trying to say. And do it in a way that's elegant, Keep your notes, think things through, and be gentle with people too. Like sometimes when you're giving suggestions at work, people think of it as an attack. So you have to be really careful about how you say things and make people feel really safe with change and understand that change is very hard for a lot of people, and be elegant and be graceful in how you approach certain situations that might be bothering you. And this is the same with your personal life. Everybody has egos, everybody gets embarrassed when they're told they're wrong. So try to phrase things elegantly so that people, are ready to hear them. And wait for the right timing too. That's another big tip. Sometimes when people are stressed out, that's not a good time to talk to them about serious issues. Wait until they're feeling a bit more relaxed. Wait for that office social when people are kicking back and relaxing. That's why these social events can be valuable at work. People are like, oh, I don't like these educational events. I don't like hanging out with other people. I just rather be by myself. But that's the time usually where you can gently bring something up like, have you considered X, Y, and Z? That could be a good idea. And also don't get too attached if they don't move on it right away, because things do take time to change in a workplace, and it's better to be gentle in your approach. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell for more video advice. I'm going to keep releasing it at least weekly, probably more frequently, and I hope you're having a wonderful, beautiful day. Take care. Bye now.